All right, back out in the shop here. I've got this turned down to where it's round. Okay, there's no more flat spots or anything like that. So now I want to make sure that I get it fairly close to the size of this. And so I'm using these. It's a caliper of sorts, transfer. I'm not exactly sure on the terminology. Another cheap Harbor Freight tool. Anyway, you open it up, and what I'm doing is I'm sliding it along the base plate here, because then I know that I'm flat. I can keep it fairly close to where the screws are, and just tighten it back up just a little bit. There, see that? I got a lot of resistance there, and I just want a little drag. There we go. And actually, there's a slate bevel under there, so that's not going to keep it very accurate. So let me lift that up just a little bit. And I got just a little drag there. That's just fine. And so now I can either keep cutting until it transfers here, and you can see I'm getting pretty close there. That's probably close enough. Anyway, I can put it on a ruler and measure it, you know, to get a dimension on it and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, see, it's in between. That looks like, gotta go backwards. So it's 4 9/16. That ought to be pretty darn close, but I'm just going to shave a little bit more off until this fits a little closer, and call it good. I forgot to mention why I used this. Basically, it's because it's small enough diameter that, yes, I could use a caliper, but there's no real good way to get under here accurately. The bolt's in the way. I can't get up at a high enough angle to reach all the way into center. And if I come down under this way and go straight in, it still doesn't reach center. So that's why I used that other tool. And I'm doing a face cut here, and I'm taking a pretty light cut. And you can see the shine here, you know, from the edge of the cut there. It's pretty darn even. That plate is really pretty flat, and it chucked up in there really flat. So I'm not having to make a very heavy face cut just to clean it up. So just this one pass ought to do it. Alright, since all my signatures on the car forums say you don't have to be too bright to be me, and I prove it every day, I thought I would prove it for today. The next cut that I need to make on the face here is to take this all the way down to a nub, you know, that's roughly about that will recess into the cross slide. That is under here, and when I had this off, I didn't measure it. So now I get to take the compound off just so I can measure that to see, you know, just to get close on that. So I'll probably have to do that a couple more times as well for the final test fit, but I at least have to take it apart and get a measurement now to even get close. And of course, now that I have this off, I can, you know, actually measure this distance much better. So might as well get a measurement on that while I'm at it. And we're looking at 4.578. And we're real close. We're actually a hair loose on that. I'm not too worried about it being just a hair under. It's real close. Anyway, okay, so that diameter, I'll play with that later. Let's get a measurement on this one. And that is 1.57. 1.571. 1.571. And I'm trying to keep it. I'm using the base here. I'm pushing the caliper up against that to keep that flat. That way it doesn't affect my readings being at an angle here. So that's a better way to do it. Just get it flat there. Squeeze it down. Let me write that down. I won't remember it. Okay, now I have a measurement on that. That's what I'm shooting for. I also want to take a measurement on this so that I have an idea how much leeway I have. So you kind of wiggle it around till you find the biggest reading, and that's at 8.5. So that's 1.585. That means I've got almost 15 thousandths. I've got a good 14 thousandths there, so I could actually make this about 10 thousandths bigger and fit in there real nice. Anything in that ballpark ought to work good. Just a couple quick seconds here. I don't have the bolts in yet, but I think maybe you can see there just how much play there is for that that boss that's sticking down into the recess there for centering it. So I've got that's kind of sloppy kind of thing, so I'm hoping to get it the next one a little bit nicer. Just want to do give you an idea just how much metal's got to get removed here. I basically have to cut this wide, roughly a 1/4 inch, maybe exactly 1/4 inch anyway, all the way down to about where that blue line is. So that's going to take a while. All right, this side's pretty much done here. That's kind of in the way there, but anyway, basically I have a little more, a little less. Let's see, what do we got here? Just a little less than a 1/4 inch step there. That's more than enough to register, and I cut a little 45-degree bevel on there, just to, so it drops down into the hole a little easier. Now I think I'm going to drill a hole in the center, because that's a real thin shelf there to be grabbing onto from the other side. So I think I may put a hole through there so I can use a bolt to grab onto it, pull it in a little harder. All right, start off drilling that hole. We're going to use a centering drill here. It's extremely short, extremely stout. It's not extremely sharp, at least not this one. Need to I'm only doing a 1/4 inch hole, so I don't need to make that any bigger than that. A 1/4 inch drill will settle into that quite nicely. Let's see how well this works out. I'm going to put a little tapping fluid on the drill just to act as lubricant there. Might even use some spray coolant here. Yeah, let's have that handy. All right. Goes in real nice and easy, because the first 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch there was from the centering drill. I was just opening it up a little bit, so. I don't have to feed it very hard. The metal's pretty soft actually, and we're all the way through. And this drill bit was actually fairly sharp. So I'll do a little countersink there just to deburr that, and then I should be able to start flipping this thing over. All right, let's see if I can do what I have in mind here. Like I said, that lip is going to be really small, and I don't want to grab it like this from the backside, even from that lip, because I want to be able to cut all of this off to that diameter. Okay, so I'm going to have to change the jaws here. But in case I forget to do this later, what I'm looking to do here is capture this washer behind the jaws like that, and then you can see that the other piece slips on here, and then I put a bolt on there, and I can actually clamp that down. So the jaws will clamp in on the boss here and hold it so it'll spin. But then if I have any real hard torque on it or anything like that, it's gonna keep it pulled in nice and tight. So I think that'll be a whole lot safer. And considering how heavy this is, that could pop out of there and go halfway through my head before I even blinked. All right, here's what I was talking about on the backside. That's kind of thin to win as far as grabbing the piece of metal. And I've done it like that before. You can grab it hard enough, but you got to take really light cuts, and I've got a lot of metal to take off of here, so I'd like to make some stronger cuts. So I'm going to get the bolt mounted in there and see if that'll work like I think. All right, now I haven't tried this yet. I did part of the challenge is that now I know where the jaws are going to sit roughly. Okay, so I'll open it up just enough to get that out of there. Now what I need is a washer big enough. Oh, not going to work at all. I don't know if you can see that, but the jaws don't come in to hold it. So, not even an option. Well, that stinks. I guess I'm going to be making a ton of really light cuts. Word crap comes to mind. Okay, so since I can't put the bolt in like I was hoping, now if I had a really long piece of all thread, ooh, yeah, let me go look for that. All right, I don't throw much away, especially when it comes to metal parts and stuff like that. I don't remember what this is from. Piston plunger, no clue. Anyway, doesn't really matter. This hole here is 0.501, so it's a thousandths over a half inch, and this is exactly a half an inch. So that fits in there beautiful. Now it gets looser down here. I don't care about that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this pin off, you know, with about 3/8 half inch down here, and that will be my guide pin for the plate. And that way I don't have to cut excess metal off the plate. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is the top. So I could, you know, come down a 1/4 inch like I did on the back side and leave a nub half inch to register on that. But I want to keep this plate as thick as possible for rigidity, because there's going to be a lot of forces. You know, that milling attachment sits pretty high, so that's a lot of leverage pulling back and forth on there. So I want to, plus two, I'm tired of cutting all this metal and that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'll drill a hole in here that's slightly undersized, and then this will get pressed in. I might have to ream it to get it just right. But I'll press that in about a half an inch and, you know, have it cut off at the right length. All I have to do then basically is do a face cut here and cut the diameter down. So I may just do that, since that's a lot less material to take off than I was planning, you know, going down in here and leaving a nub. I may not have to mess with the whole bolt thing going through. Although I did pretty much figure that out. Ooh, the battery's about to die. What I found was a 5/16 piece of all thread, so I could literally drill that hole out a little bit bigger and it will reach all the way through. So I might do that too, just for safety's sake, since I still value my face at this point. All right, something else here too. If I'm going to try just to hold on to that nub, it's a little thin to win. I've got it in here. It's just kind of snugged right now. Now, keep in mind, this is 1 point out of 3 pulling on that screw, okay? So it's just like a drill chuck, where if you really want to get it tight and make sure that it can't come out, tighten it up at all 3 points, okay? And that'll make sure that vibration and pressure in that stuff can't, you know, make this one back out a little bit more, because everything in there just shifts slightly. So we'll see how it does with the cuts. If I get any wobble or anything like that, I'm just going to stop, put a hole through here, and put the rod in. But I at least want to make the face cut, and that way I don't have anything in my way there.